Okay, here we have Variety, March the 15th, 2026. Nathan Fillion reveals Firefly Revival being developed as an animated series. Nathan Fillion, of course, who played Malcolm, I want to say, as the lead character in Firefly. So this is some quite good news. I'm kind of looking forward to this, if it does actually happen. But we will see if we scroll down. It can be revealed. Firefly is indeed coming back. Star Nathan Fillion, who had been teasing some sort of revival of the cult hit series. So yeah, I think there's been some videos on the internet of Nathan Fillion going round to the other cast houses. Lots of nodding, very dry humour, very appropriate for the series itself. So the cult hit series, which lasted less than one season, then returned as a movie. I mean, only 11 episodes, yeah. Now that's a lot of episodes, but back in, was it 2002, when it came out, it was a bit of a shocker that Firefly got cancelled so early. So much of a shocker that there was a movie 3 years later. So the cult hit series will be an animated show currently in very early stages of development. Variety has confirmed. According to Deadline, which broke the news, seasoned TV producers and married writing duo Mark Guggenheim from Arrow and Tara Butters, Marvel's Agent Carter, will serve as showrunners. So I think I watched the first season of Arrow and I quite enjoyed it. The second season dropped off quite badly. I think that was typical for the CW. In fact, Arrow might have been the only series in the CW that I even watched one season. So possibly that's a good thing, depending on which parts this guy wrote. As far as Marvel's Agent Carter, I maybe saw a couple of episodes. I do like what's her name. She moved on to Mission Impossible. She's fantastic. But I don't remember the TV show. I just remember enjoying Hayley Atwell. There we go. Yeah, Hayley Atwell. So they'll serve as showrunners. The show will take place between the TV show, which ran in 2002, and the 2005 feature Serenity. Animation Studios' Shadow Machine is handling the visuals. Fillion's Collision 33 is developing with 20th Television Animation. Okay, so it's Nathan Fillion's production company, I guess. And I guess 20th Television Animation is part of Fox. Were Buffy and Angel and all that, were they part of Fox? I can't really remember. Fillion was set to share the news on Sunday at the AwesomeCon event in Washington, D.C. and also deal the news on the Once We Were Spacemen podcast, which he and Alan Tudyk, who played Wash, launched in November. Right, so I guess if they set it in between the TV show and the movie, then Wash can be involved, shall I say. On the Instagram page for the podcast urged fans to promote the news. The word is out. To keep Firefly flying, we need a home. And for that, we need you. Like this post, comment on this post, repost this post, tag a friend, tag an enemy, even tag a reaver. Give us some quantifiable analytics. Okay, so it looks like this is very, very early days. It looks like maybe they haven't even agreed a deal yet. But it's good that they're asking for fan support. So I think the problem with a lot of sci-fi and fantasy recently is that fan support has been unwelcome. I think Nathan Fillion has treated Firefly in a respectful way. So he only had one season on there, and then he had Castle, and I think he's still doing some kind of police show where he's a very old academy cadet or something, but he's always been very respectful of Firefly, I think. So I kind of appreciate that kind of attitude. I know a lot of people appreciate that kind of attitude. Okay, so yeah, here's the Instagram post. Again, quantifiable analytics, so he sounds like he knows what he's doing. In cryptic social media videos last week, the co-stars, and here they all are, hinted that something was afoot, and it is all of them as well, which is very good. All the ones that remain with us. Fillion and the Firefly cast have remained tight, as the recent social media posts and podcast prove. Firefly remains a popular show on the comic convention circuit, with frequent cast reunion panels. Full time, please, Fillion said at a New York Comic Con, for example. Tudyk also partnered with Fillion to star in and produce the crowd-funded series Con Man, which was inspired in part by their experience on the tub-thumping Firefly. So it seems like the cast get on quite well. That's very good news. They don't hate each other. It seems like they actually want to do it. Set 500 years into the future during a global civil war, Firefly charted the whereabouts of spaceship Serenity and its 9 crew members in the year 2517. The show didn't last long, but became a cult phenomenon after its 2002 premiere. Fox cancelled the show after 11 episodes, largely because of low ratings. In its original review, Variety wrote of Firefly, cheeky and charming, Joss Whedon's attempts to fuse Otis with Star Trek is just silly enough to work. There's absolutely nothing else like it on TV. So I'm not really sure what Otis is in this context here. Maybe that's some kind of misspelling. Maybe that got copied wrong, for example. But cheeky and charming, yeah, I would sort of agree with that. So Joss Whedon, at the time, still had Buffy the Vampire Slayer on air, still had Angel on air as well, and Fox cancelled the show after 11 episodes, which, you know, you can make a show as successful as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you can still have it on air and you still get your show cancelled after 11 episodes. Whedon isn't involved in this revival, just as he wasn't part of the recent attempt to revive Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which had been in development at Hulu, until this most recent iteration was scrapped earlier this week. Probably good news, to be honest. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer had 7 seasons, where Firefly had 11 episodes. So creatively, I think there's a lot more to mine in Firefly. Buffy, like for me, it should have ended at the end of season 5. There was some good stuff in 6 and 7, but having a Buffy revival would just be pointless. But I am quietly sort of looking forward to this Firefly animated series, particularly if it's an animated series. So if it was live action, obviously the story would have to be different. You'd have to work out where everyone was. You'd have to spend time getting the gang together. I think, to be honest, quite often for science fiction and fantasy, it's going to be better to do it animated. The scale is such that, I mean, things like Rings of Power, for example, you can spend the time, you can spend the money on making a show look as good as possible. But if there's no creative story to tell, then what's the point? I mean, I think with Firefly, there's probably story to tell. There's some really good character relationships set up in this show. So I think making it animated makes it lower stakes as well. I assume it's cheaper to make something animated than it is to make it live action. So sci-fi and fantasy in general, I think, should do more animation, perhaps. There should be a greater percentage of animation as opposed to live action. For example, so this is based on a character who we've already seen in live action. And I will scroll down to reveal who it is. So Game of Thrones 9 Voyages. This is Corlys Velaryon, who we've seen in both seasons of House of the Dragon. And the story that we'd be telling him is this bit here. So throughout House of the Dragon, we've heard tell of the infamous sea snake and the 9 deadly voyages he sailed around the known world, including Loreth, Lys, Volantis, Karth and Asai, all places that got mentioned in Game of Thrones. A lot of fans have wanted to know more about the sea snake's backstory. This new series would deliver that. So I think this is another thing that would be perfect for animation. Could you technically do this in live action? Is it technically possible? Yes, but it would be extremely expensive. These beautiful sets to do all the CGI, and maybe the writing would get lost in the mix somehow. So I am really looking forward to Firefly, assuming that it happens, of course, but I'm cautiously optimistic for this. Thanks very much.